Games going on, all going out live for Bar TV Sports via Facebook, so thank you for joining us. Saw a result last night. We saw a Corrimal side push the Thirroul Butchers all the way to the end. The Butchers getting away with the victory in that one. But great to see Corrimal coming back and fighting back. They had a very tough first-up loss to the defending premiers Collegians in round one. Coach Nathan Thien said after that one that it really didn't do justice to the effort the Cougars put in. They've shown that since in a couple of efforts against Helensburgh and against Thirroul. See Dapto already out there on the paddock, so it looks as if they're going to go from behind the dead ball line to start this one. West not yet on the paddock as we see the referees making their way onto the paddock, so we're not far away from kickoff in this one. And as we said, expecting an absolute belter of a clash here this afternoon at Dapto Showground, the iconic Dapto Showground. As we see, Dapto looks like, in fact, they're leaving the paddock and just heading back to their sheds just briefly before they come on. Will be very interesting to see how the four-quarter system does play out this afternoon. Obviously, this season reverting to a pool system as opposed to the knockout format under which the Challenge Cup has run in recent seasons. Pool system this year, so all sides guarantee 3 games, so the approach can differ from club to club, but I have to think, as tough as it may be for some of the boys out there this afternoon, it'll be valuable running in the legs and some valuable conditioning as we are still a little more than a month out from the start of the season proper. Of course, there is a pretty big carrot on offer for the sides that ultimately do represent the Illawarra in the New South Wales Challenge Cup, playing against the very best of the Newcastle competition and the Ron Massey Cup. So some bragging rights are on the line once this one is all done and dusted. It looks out there the officials are ready to go, so we're just awaiting the arrival of both sides. So we look down, Michael Henderson there on the sideline. As we touched on, been around the club for a couple of years now, so he knows very much what he can expect from people in his roster. So just nursing his way through the pre-season thus far. We'll be pulling on the boots again this season once the season does roll around. But as we're about to start, I might just throw over to Johnny, who's been there working busily there as the team sheets do arrive to run us through the lineups this afternoon.
Thanks, Mitch. Few changes to the Western Suburbs team today, but we'll go through the home side. The Dapto Canaries, coached by Michael Henderson. Number 1 is Troy Pieper. Number 2 is Namolati Keogh. 3 is Sammy Kamisala. 4, Josh Bryant. 5 is Rob Basaru. 6, Lalia. 7, Jeff Robson. 8, Reese Bowditch. 9, Dylan McGregor. 10, Tori Brunning. 11, Penny Boticki. 12, Joel Reddy. 13, Rod Manuela. 14, Bailey Wallace. 15, Stuart Mason. 16, Matty Hancock. 17, Luke Penny. And number 18, Luke Williams. And for the Western Suburbs Red Devils, we see them taking the field here at Dapto Showground. Number 1 is Mitchell Porter. 2, Luke Towers. 3, Nathan Leah Tingaga. 4, Lachlan Hurst. 5, Will Tom. 6, Kyle Lodge. 7, Justin Rodriguez. Number 9, Josh Daly. 10, Martin Cramp. 11, Kieran Rankmore. 12, Glenn Stewart. 13, Jared Power. 14, Colby Pello. 15, Jimmy Green. Number 16, Dylan Laurie. Number 18, Kyle Lodge. 19, Tony Pello. 20, Jason Green. And number 22 is Zach Green. As we see the Dapto Canaries taking the field, Mitch, and the crowd's excited here. A lot of supporters of both sides jamming into Dapto Showground. A much anticipated match this. We see the Dapto trainer Nathan Hodson just looking up here, Mitch. I'm not sure what he's looking for. I think a finger to the crowd up here. Bit of a character in the Illawarra League there, Mitch, isn't he?
As we say, Lee, safe. You went from one thing, you went from hatred to the peace sign. So here we go. I'll tell you what, the West have done a job on you there, Johnny, with the team sheet. It's changed everywhere, hasn't it? I'll tell you what, we can blame the whoever fitted the jumpers because they're all sorts of different sizes. I don't know if they've ever fitted out a rugby league team before, but you've done very well, mate. And we're about to get underway. Mitchy Porter will get us underway. He is in the number 1, and it's a very good fit for him. Great to see Mitchie Porter back in the Illawarra League. Johnny, obviously a couple of time leading point scorer, a really class player. Went away last year, but back in West colours.
Mate, it's the slim-fitting jumpers they've all got now. Bring back the old cotton ones. We've got kickoff here, Mitch, and a big chase here anticipated off the kickoff.
So we see Tory Brunning bringing the ball back. A good first hit up from Brunning. He's taken it up towards the 20. McGregor there at dummy half. This is Bowditch. Really came along last season. Bowditch got a couple of opportunities. A very, very good front row rotation they do boast, as this is Manuela. He takes it up over the 30. Some good contact there. I think it was a freshly shorn Marty Cramp there. Hard to recognise him with the traditional buzz cut. He's done a bit of an Aaron Woods there. As we see now McGregor there again at dummy half. Peeper on the inside for Manuela again. Second carry, and he's driven backwards there. Rankmore underneath, doing the hard, strong work. Marty Cramp also involved. And they'll come right, and just a bit of a deflection there, so it's picked up by Kamisala, but it has hit the deck. So a change over there on the last. So not a bad set coming out of trouble, Johnny, but certainly would have liked to get a kick on the end of it. Yeah, I'm sure Coach Mick Henderson would have liked to have completed that set, but I noticed just early there, Troy Peeper really getting into that first receiver role there a little bit like what Jason Raper was doing last season for the Dapto Canaries, and Rapes was very successful doing that throughout season 2017, so is Peeps the man to sort of steer him around there and play as that second sort of half, you think there, Mitch? Certainly has all the tools to do it. Did come into a grade under former coach Chris Leichval in the fullback and wing positions. Was a real find as a 5'8" last season, as we see Glenn Stewart now getting his first carry in Devils colours for this season. It's put on his back there. McGregor doing the defensive work. So this is Laurie now. Second man for Rodriguez, back on the inside for Rankmore. So some good early ball movement from the Devils. Rankmore held, he's 20 metres out. Daly at dummy half, he shapes left, goes right. Glenn Stewart on the back for the grubber to go through, and Peeper, that man we just spoke about, collecting that. As you said, Johnny may just feature as a ball player chiming into the back line. Yeah, we've just seen a nice little kick behind the line there from Tony Pello, Mitch, and the two Pello boys down from Corrimal this season, signed with the Western Suburbs Red Devils. They were two of Corrimal's best last season, and down playing for Western Suburbs this season. I'm expecting big things from them two young brothers to really put a big 2018 in. Have to think so, yeah. Tony Pello, for me, certainly in the games I've watched, been one of the absolute standouts of the VB Challenge Cup, as we see Dapto now working it up over the 30. Getting another opportunity this afternoon. I'll tell you what, it's an embarrassment of riches. Pete McLeod has at his disposal. We just saw Zach Green as that one sails into touch. Some good kick pressure there on Robson. Looking like he wanted a bit more support up front from some of the decoy runners. I think it was Rankmore coming through to put the pressure on him. Or in fact, it might have been young Josh Daly, the hooker. But now two straight sets coming out of trouble. Haven't got the end to the set they would have been looking for, Johnny. No, it would have been high on the tip sheet that the Western Suburbs boys talked about before the game, is get up on Jeff Robson and shut down his kicking game. As we see Western Suburbs on the attack inside the 40 metres, scooting out of dummy half Pello. Just a missed pass there. Big regathered by Tony Pello. A little bit of hot potato football going on here, Mitch. So the Westers really need to put it under their wing and go forward and really settle themselves. They're in great field position. Yeah, it looks a little bit sideways so far from the Devils. Rodriguez now, he finds Colby Pello. Breaks away from a couple of tackles there, going back in field. A lot of ball movement from the Devils early on as they come left now. This is Laurie again off his right foot. Good footwork from the big man there. He's pulled down 8 metres out. Daly at dummy half finds Pello. On to Glenn Stewart. Second man there for Porter. Some space out wide there. And Peeper coming across. Great tackle there from Troy Peeper. Although it looks like he may have just got the ball down anyway. So some great work there from the Devils. We said they have been going out that way. I think it's Luke Towers over there on that side that's managed to get the ball down despite plenty of attention from the Dapto defence. And I think the message, Johnny, going out there will be to get to the end of their sets. We've seen Dapto now twice coming out of trouble, not managed to complete a set, and then paying the price for it there. Yeah, definitely. You can't give a side like Western Suburbs a chance in your own area to hold out too many times. We've seen great ball movement there from Western Suburbs.
And just there, Glenn Stewart's showing his wealth of experience there, just holding up that ball just a little bit longer than usual and just giving out the back to Mitchell Porter. And Mitchell Porter just had room to move and laid a gift try there for Luke Towers. In saying that, Towers still had a little bit of work to do to get past Peeper. But Towers opens his account today, and Western Suburbs go to an early 4-0 lead.
Yeah, I tell you what, I didn't give him much of a chance there, did I? I said, no, great tackle there, but he's done very well. Obviously, that is on the far side, so we don't have the benefit of all the camera angles to show, but a very good finish there from Towers, as we said. Under plenty of attention there from Troy Peeper coming across, and already we're seeing, over on that right edge, it looks already as if Glenn Stewart's going to be a huge attacking focal point on that side. It is where he played predominantly when he was with Manly, out on that side. Linking there with Mitch Porter at the back. Looking very much Glenn Stewart to Brett Stewart there.
We talk about combinations a lot in this league, Mitch, and we talked about watching Collegians this season, their combinations from holding the bulk of their squad from last season and what we've seen so far this season. We look at the Western Suburbs team, who a lot of missed changes from last year, a lot of different combinations we're seeing today, and they didn't look out of place there, Mitch, from that backline move. They looked like a side that have been playing together for years just then.
And there you go, Mitch Porter again showing his class as a goal kicker. I tell you what, if you had someone kicking for your house in this league, it would be Mitchy Porter. He made that look easy from the sideline. We've got Dapto looking to respond here. He touched on some of the halves there. We did see Zach Green having a great turnout there in reserve grade as well. So there's plenty of, it's an embarrassment of riches really in the halves for Pete McLeod ending in that spine position.
He looked a class above Zach Green in that reserve grade game, didn't he, Mitch?
Yeah, I doubt we'll see him figure there much this season, to be honest. But Justin Rodriguez gives this one on to Marty Cramp. So a good carry from Marty Cramp. As I said, hard to recognise with the lock, Sean. Looks like he might have picked up a bit of an injury there too, Cramp. He's clutching at his left leg there, it looks like, as Dylan Laurie now picks up another 10 metres here. Couldn't quite put him to ground there, the Dapto defence, so he's up towards the 40. So 2 good carries to start this set for the Devils. This young Jaron Power, I tell you what, he was super impressive a couple of weeks ago in the match I called against Queanbeyan. He takes it up towards halfway. And now Glenn Stewart doing some of the hard work there. He's up towards the 40. Daly out of dummy half, finds some dead ants there around the plate of all Marty Crample. He shrugged off whatever injury he did pick up in that carry. Great set from the Devils thus far. They're right up towards the Dapto 20 as Rodriguez will look for the kick on the last. Coming forward, it's Baseru and Peeper. Well, great take there. Plenty of people contesting that one. As we did touch on, Johnny spent the bulk of the last couple of seasons in the halves, but hasn't lost that fullback polish.
No, definitely not. We talked about it before the game, Mitch, about Peeper going to fullback, and talk about the hole left by Jason Raper for this season. But Peeper, he's a class act all over the field. He's comfortable in all positions, and it looks like Coach Michael Henderson is going to see how he goes, wearing the number 1 on his jersey in season 2018. And for me, I don't think he'll look out of place there. No,
not at all. Showing his class there early on, as we see Bowdish now taking this carry. Tory Brunning, after that opening stint, has come to the sideline. Matty Hancock going out there onto the paddock now, as Manuela now takes it up over halfway. And that is Dapto's first venture into the west half in this opening 12 minutes or so. Hancock now second man to Lulia, and that was Patiki coming in. He just sort of overran that one. The pass hit him right on the chest there, Patiki. So Dapto really, Johnny, yet to fully complete a set.
No, it wasn't a bad pass there. It's just Penny Patiki just couldn't get a good grasp on that ball. I'm not sure if he had his eyes on the red jumpers approaching him. But again, Dapto just not completing their set, and will pack another scrum. Mitch, they've got points in them, Dapto. They've just got to get to their 5th tackle and get it down the other end. They're just letting Western Suburbs with too much ball so far in this first quarter.
Yeah, putting the cart before the horse just slightly since they've had the footy, Dapto, as we see Jaron Power take the ball over there halfway. That would have to be a penalty at NRL level, and it is here as well. We've seen a huge crackdown on that at NRL level, Johnny, and it looks like it's those things never really filter down to this league. And I'll tell you what, it was a bit of an ordinary play. The ball probably warranted a penalty there.
Yes, definitely. And we talk about the penalties given away that are given in the NRL. Last night, the Thirroul and the Corrimal game, there was plenty of penalties in that game, and a lot for what we just seen then. So these referees, they're going to be... We've got NRL experience here, Mitch, so the NRL refereeing has come down, filtered through into the Illawarra League.
Manuela now takes it up towards the West 30. McGregor at dummy half, Lulia. Finds Hancock back on the inside. He was a bit short of a gallop there, Hancock. Couldn't quite wind up. He'll play it. They'll go left now to Lulia again in the 6. Pieper onto Josh Bright there. He tried to get that away and couldn't over to Keogh on that wing. So some good outside in pressure there from the Devils. As he said, Johnny, a bit of a different looking backline. We've seen Josh Bryant last year along with Robbie Baseru on this side. The equal leading try scorers in the competition could finish. He's in the centres this afternoon as the backline has a little bit of a different look about it. Obviously Lulia in the 6 as well. So some things to play out, but it does seem like a bit of a reshuffle and it could take a little while to click, Johnny.
Yeah, definitely, Mitch. The last 2 seasons, Dapto have really had the same sort of backline and same squad. But as you said, Josh Bryant moving into the centres from his traditionally a position that he's held well the last few seasons on the wing. It was a try-scoring machine, Josh Bryant, last season. Him and Baseru. You know, if you got even money about them scoring a try each game, you'd be a rich man last year, Mitch.
If only they had odds on this league, I'll tell you what, Johnny, I would be a very rich man. As we come left there to Rodriguez. As it stands, I'm deeper and deeper into the pocket. It is St Patrick's Day. So the luck of the Irish hasn't quite paid off for us yet as Marty Cramp there spills that one. It was a good tackle underneath there from Bowditch. So it's West now coughing up a little bit of ball. McGregor at dummy half onto Batiki. Nice offload there for McGregor. Still edging his way for McGregor. So into the West half are the Canaries as they go left now. This is that man Josh Bryant we were just speaking about. He takes it up over the 40. Some changes again. Bowditch coming off to the sideline with Stu Mason coming on.
This unlimited interchange in this VB Challenge Cup concept. On a day like Mitch, this is going to be real handy for both sides. We see Dapto on the short side, Lulia brings in the centre inside, looking to offload the ball, Mitch, and inside the 10 is a big chance for the Dapto Canaries.
Yeah, Batiki there playing the ball. They come right to Robson. Drops it on the toe there, Stu Mason giving chase, and the ball's been spilled. Manuela there, Johnny on the spot to pick that one up. And it will be a try. You see just at the back there, Mitchie Porter couldn't quite clean that one up. Good pressure there from Stu Mason, who we mentioned just came onto the field. And Manuela there to pick up the scraps and score the first try. And I'll tell you what, the way these opening minutes have gone, have to think, Johnny, that Michael Henderson will be very happy to have just about to square the ledger there, given the lack of territory they have had.
Yeah, not many opportunities for Dapto in Western Suburbs territory, and a nice little deft kick behind the line from that man, Jeff Robson. And I think it was Stuart Mason that just couldn't get his hands to the ball, and Manuela, his eyes would have lit up there, Mitch, seeing that pill inches from the white stripe, and he's had a good grab and tossed it over the line to slam it down. And it looks like we could be 6-all, Mitch, and Dapto just haven't had the chances, probably not deserving of a try as of yet, as they haven't got to their sets and completed a full set of 6 yet, but it's a funny game, rugby league, isn't it?
They have a knack of doing that, have over the last couple of years, Dapto. They don't really have to be looking fantastic to put points on the board. They really are, in mixed martial arts terms, very dangerous off their back, Dapto, in terms of what they can produce when they look a little bit wounded, and they've done just that there. So we're all level now, 6 minutes before our first break, 6-all. And Dapto, I'm pretty sure the directive coming out from Hendo on the sideline will be to complete this set, get to the end of it and get to a kick. Although we are all tied up, it's still what they're yet to achieve in this quarter. As it comes now to Pieper, he'll field this one. Bowls it just a little bit. This looks like Stu Mason bringing it in off the dead ball line. Left now to Batiki. Former West Red Devil himself, Batiki, also has played in Collegians colours as well. And he's just spilt that one. So again, Dapto faltering coming out of their own end. And West with a chance to respond straight away, Johnny.
The absolute coach killer. You score points and you don't complete your set off the kickoff. As we see, I thought the message will be getting out to these Dapto Canaries players to really D up on this next set and hold Western Suburbs out. As we see, just nearly 5 minutes shy of the first quarter break. As we see the West Devils about to feed the scrum 20 metres out from the Dapto Canaries line. Rodriguez with the ball in hand, out to Porter.
It's Rankmore now, it looks like, taking it up over the 20. He's going to play the ball there to Daly. Back on the inside there for Laurie. The boot goes flying out of there. Zach Blay onto Pello. Pello on a Mitch Porter, goes off his right foot. As they come left, Stewart at first receiver. Second man now for Rodriguez. Flat ball for Rankmore. Nice offload from Rankmore, and the ball goes over the top there, and it sails into touch, but I'll tell you what, it looked promising. Nice little offload there from Rankmore. He found Rodriguez, and Rodriguez just couldn't quite find Towers there on this wing with the pass, Johnny.
Yeah, it was a good set play there from Western Suburbs. We see then again, Glenn Stewart held the ball up and went out the back. Didn't hit his flat runner, hit the runner from the outside. Last time it was Mitch Porter, this time it was Rodriguez, and just could not lay that ball onto Luke Towers there. Good signs for the Western Suburbs Red Devils. As we see another scrum getting packed, Mitch, and just taking some air into the lungs. Just shy of 4 minutes remaining in this quarter.
And here's Robson to feed the scrum. The ball goes spewing out the back there. I think they'll repack that one. They will. But again, Glenn Stewart there coming from the right to the left-hand edge. You'd have to think Pete McLeod would have given him a roving pass. He can pop up wherever he likes. And he has just there on the left and created an opportunity, certainly. As we see now, Baseru taking the ball out from his own end. He's just over the 10. Plenty involved in that tackle. This is Kamisala out from dummy half. He's still trying to edge his way forward. He'll take it up towards the 20. Plenty involved in that tackle from the Devils again. We're getting out onto Keogh from the left wing. Some good defence first up there from Blay as they go to Hancock. He goes with his right foot. Blay involved again. So some good line speed here from the Devils. Dapto doing it tough out of their own end here. Now on to Mason. Good shot underneath there. It was Rankmore again. I tell you what, throwing his body right into things, Kieran Rankmore this afternoon, as Robson now puts that kick down towards Porter. Porter will field it. And a good chase on the kick there from Dapto. And as we go, 2 minutes before the first quarter break, and Dapto finally get to a kick, Johnny.
It's taken 18 minutes, Mitch, and they finally got to a kick. A successful kick at that. We've seen earlier on Jeff Robson got to his kick, kicked it out on the full, but this time he's found grass. And a good kick chase from the Dapto Canaries, and West bringing it out over their 40-metre line. And it was good contact from Western Suburbs just in that last set from Rankmore. You spoke about the boys throwing their body on the line. It's what's going to be needed in this game for each side to really dominate defensively.
As we see now, Josh Daly at dummy half again. He comes left to Rodriguez, who puts this one high. It'll be a tester for Pieper. The chase coming through. And very good again under the high ball there, Pieper. Made what was a tough catch look easy there as Baseru comes out from dummy half. Baseru now on to Keogh in off the left wing. Good shot there, Zach Blay. Hits him square on and puts him on his back. Hancock now for dummy half, and some good contact again from Colby Pello it was on that occasion. So the Devils really aiming up defensively. McGregor coming out of dummy half. He'll play it just short of halfway. Robson now, he's some good pressure from the inside out from Leotinga. As Porter comes back on the kick return, he breaks a tackle there. Baseru comes again and puts him down, so he'll be tackled just shy of his own 40. Well, now Leotinga, now he's wearing the 3, but I can assure you he's playing in the middle. He goes up towards halfway. The ball comes right now to Pello, on to Stewart. Stewart crabbing his way back in field, held there by Manuela and McGregor. Daly out of dummy half, sniffs out an opportunity. Very good from there, as Hancock might have just collected him a little bit high there. And he has.
Matty Hancock looked a little bit off-footed there, Mitch. I'm sure Daly was getting around him, and Hancock's just put out the big right arm just to say, you ain't getting past me, little mate.
Yeah, I think he'll concede the penalty there rather than let him breeze past him. There's Pello now with the touch finder. There's Towers with the inbound ball onto Daly. Leotinga now back towards the post. He's going to play it a metre out. Very close to half-time here. We're inside the final minute, so big set defensively coming up, and another penalty there. As we count down, we're seconds away from the quarter-time break. Leah Tinger now going forward. He'll be made to play it just short. Daly now, last chance for the Devils on this quarter as Porter. He's got some space. He goes out that way to Tom. And he'll kick that and it will go dead. And that will be all she wrote in the first quarter. It is Will Tom on that side. I'll give you some credit. I gave Luke Towers that try. But the opening try did go to Will Tom over on that edge. And it is 6-all in that half, and very much a back-and-forth half, Johnny. But have to think Dapto coach Michael Henderson will be happy to be all square, given they were on the back foot for most of that quarter. Definitely.
That first 18 minutes, Dapto did not complete a set, and we've seen the last two sets from Dapto in that quarter were much better, with Jeff Robson getting to the kick on the last. We spoke about earlier about putting the body on the line in defensively. And Leah Tinger, he done that a few times there, wearing the number 3 on his back, but he looks more like a front rower or a second rower. Mitch is steaming onto that ball.
I think that's where we'll see him deployed for most of the year. Kieran Rankmer on this edge, also really shortening a few guys up. Almost as if the quarter-time break came at a bad time for the Devils. They were really building some momentum. They had conceded that try, which did come off a bit of a loose ball, and perhaps some good fortune there for Dapto, but that's why they've been just at whereabouts they've been in the competition the last couple of years. Dapto, even when they haven't been playing their best, their ability to stay in a contest, and we are only 20 minutes in, so plenty to write in this one. Certainly won't be any huge concern there for Michael Henderson as he addresses the boys there. He looks a little bit animated, to be honest, Johnny, and maybe just going out there and saying, how about we just finish a set here? How about we get back to the basics and perhaps, crawl before we walk?
He's got super high standards, Mick Henderson. And just to see that Dapto side not completing their sets early in that first quarter would have been hard for him to take. Dapto have really prided themselves on being super consistent over the last few seasons. And that's not the Dapto Canary side we've seen the last 2 years. And I'm sure that's coming out of Michael Henderson's mouth right about now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's a pretty composed character normally. I'm glad we haven't got a mic in that huddle, Johnny. As we see, though, Pete McLeod got plenty to say, though, looking into his huddle as well. Would have had to have liked what he did see from the Devils there, but obviously Dapto went down there once and did get a try, so going to need to switch on the defensive side of things. As we said, oppressive heat. It's absolutely sweltering here. I'm glad we're in the singlets up here, Johnny.
Definitely. I'm just looking down there and a couple of the older players there with the short haircuts. I'm sure a bit of banana boat on their scalps wouldn't go astray in this heat.
Yeah, as we've seen, I noticed out there Marty Cramp, he's shorn the locks. I don't know if he was copping quite the pizzling that Aaron Woods did for the Bulldogs last week. We saw him turn out for the Bulldogs against the Roosters last night with the old the old crop haircut, which is probably what he should have done a long time ago if you ask me. But Marty Cramp, he's also done the hair. So we'll see how that affects his performances going forward, although he was very good in that first quarter. Hard to pick a bad player in that first quarter, as much as Dapto were slightly on the back foot. But they'll be looking to put some back-to-back sets together and really build some momentum here in the second. I think Hendo might have been happy to hit that quarter time just to get out there and reboot things.
I think all 26 players on the field would have been happy to get that 20-minute quarter-time break there, Mitch.
You would have to think so, as the referees make their way back onto the paddock, so we will be underway again very shortly. We are live for Bar TV Sports. Thank you for joining us. Some of the best action you will see in country footy. Without doubt, if you ask me, the best country rugby league competition on offer anywhere. We are closing in on the new season, which is exciting for all of us, including us guys up here that hold the mics, Johnny. But it's coming early. The pre-season action been very, very good. Hardly seen a bad game early on. I know we had the pleasure of calling Collegians the Rule last week, Johnny, which was a fantastic game. And this one's shaping up very much the same.
Yeah, definitely. This one's going to go the full 80 minutes today, Mitch, for sure. As we've seen that last week in the Collegians and Thurul battle out there at Gibson Park. But a lot on offer here. Western Suburbs, they should find themselves next week playing in the Challenge Cup final against Collegians, and a bit of prize money on offer for that grand final, or for that winner next week, Mitch.
Yeah, a bit of coin on offer. Two clubs that could use some extra coin, Collegians and West.
Will it go to them, or is a season AAA there for that prize money?
I would hope so. They've earned it. I'll tell you what, in these pre-season conditions, any side that gets to the final of that competition, I'll tell you what, they could... they've earned a holiday, although that won't be happening till well after September, you would think. There's a penalty now straight out on this first set. So a chance for Dapto to really get on the front foot early in this one, as Robson will look for the touch finder. Gee, oh, geez, we're very close to not going out there. I'll tell you what, he looked a bit nervous, old Jeff Robson there. He was chasing that one hard, but it goes out.
He hasn't had the ideal start to the game off the boot, Jeff Robson, so far. One over the full, that one just finding touch. But a player of his experience, Mitch, I can't knock him too much. What was it, 170-odd NRL games?
170 plus. So I'm sure he will bounce back here from that, as we see a Devils player has got a hand to that one, so it's a scrum rather than a tap to resume. I think most sides would prefer a scrum to the tap, actually, these days, Johnny, when you talk about getting a defensive lie set. As Joel Reddy now gets just about one of his first couple of carries, you have to think. Very quiet in that first quarter by his lofty standards, as Stuart Mason now takes it up over the 40. Edging towards the 30 there. McGregor at dummy half. He pops out, flat ball there for Hancock, got the arm free. Robson now in support. Certainly a man to follow, Matty Hancock, can get the arm free, as Lulia now on the blind side. They go to Botica, he charges onto that one, he's 9 metres out. So Dapto with their tails up here, as Manuela now goes off his right foot, still pushing his way towards the try line. He'll play it just shy of the post's last tackle as they come to Robson. And a nice, neat little kick there. It's a ball. Well, there you go. Straight away, Joel Reddy scores. Well, we've heard about the commentators' mock, Johnny, but I'll tell you what, I think you've just pushed him to the good. A lovely little kick that sits up in the in goal for the first try.
That's two little kicks that have come off Jeff Robson's boot, and I'll say two little fluky tries, to be honest. As we see, just the ball sat up again, and Joel Reddy, Johnny on the spot there. That was probably his second touch of the game. Mitchie took that hit up just moments ago and just finds himself in the right position at the right time. And this is more of the Dapto side, we know, Mitch, of really forcing their way down into the opposition's territory and putting points on the board.
You have to say, yeah, they really had their tails up there. Probably maybe a bit of a spray from Hendo there at quarter time. They certainly came out with a lot more impetus in their carries. Patiki over there really charged onto a couple there. Manuela as well backed it up. And those sorts of things, the bounce of the ball does go your way when you are going forward. And we saw it happen there for the Canaries. Looks like it'll be Pieper to attempt this conversion. And I'll tell you what, the way the first 24 minutes have gone, it has to be a little bit disheartening, Johnny, for West to look up and find themselves down on the scoreboard. Definitely,
they've been the more dominant side early in that first quarter. That first set from Dapto, Mitch, you've just seen a little bit more involvement from Jeff Robson. He really marshalled himself both sides of the ruck there, and he really sniffed out and got behind the ball carrier of Hancock, looking to get that arm free. So 2 tries, 2 kicks for Jeff Robson. As I said, he hasn't been too successful with his kicking game, but those 2 little deft kicks have really paid off and resulted in 2 4-pointers for the Dapto Canaries.
As we see there, Troy Pieper did add the extras. So it's Porter to get us underway from halfway. Puts this one deep down that way towards Lulia. He juggles that one slightly. Stu Mason nearly overran him there, and he's bumped. Not sure who it was over there, the West defender, but he ended up on his backside there. Might have been Lockie Hurst, I think, over on that edge. As McGregor now, flat ball there, very flat in the end for Josh Brighton. They'll say no. The pass did go forward. It looked very flat. So, again, it seems to have been their Achilles heel so far this afternoon. Another set coming out of trouble, Johnny, and they can't get to a kick.
Yeah, they've done it again, Mitch. They did it earlier on when they put points on the board, could not get to their kick, and they've done it again. Josh Bryant just overrunning that ball from McGregor, and it's just gifted Western Suburbs a big opportunity to hit back in this second quarter.
Great field position now for the Devils. We'll be looking for the quick hit back as Leah Tinganga takes the ball forward. He's up towards the 20. As they come left now, That's Blay taking the ball forward. Got to respect a big performance from a redhead on St Paddy's Day, Johnny. Certainly been good so far. Zach Blaisley. I think a second man for Pello. Onto Porter. He's tackled there by Batiki. Daly out from dummy half, and Marty Crample. He spilt that one cold. Had a very good look at it, Big Marty, and he's just spilt that one. Perhaps just took a peek at the defensive line. So a bit of a let-off there for the Canaries. But again, some expansive footy from the Devils and sort of looking very slick in attack.
Marty Crampy just went to take that ball and seen big Stuart Mason in front of him. Had his eyes on the big red jumper coming towards him.
You never should have got the haircut. I told you this a quarter time. Never should have got the haircut. But he'll be looking to bounce back, Big Marty.
Dapto
as they go left now, Bay Saru, he's on the 10. Lingering in the tackle a little while there, Rodriguez. And this is Batiki. In fact, I think it's actually Kamisala there, the centre. It was. So they go into Hancock and now all offside there, the Devils. So a piggyback penalty out of trouble. And Robson with the touch finder, so the chance to build something here for Dapto. It is Keogh on that side with the inbound ball to Bryant. Bryant with the tap, Lulia onto Manuela. He's over halfway. Yeah, from dummy half, McGregor and Stewart, they'll say, looks like he's pointing to the blind side there, the referee. Never got back, so that's 2 penalties back-to-back for not getting back the 10. And Mitch Porter there pleading his side's case. They do sting back-to-back penalties like that. As Lulia looks for touch. And he finds it. Now it looks like it's going to be Keogh again on the inside to Bryant. And Bryant with the tap onto Lulia. Manuela, so a carbon copy of their last tap as he takes it up towards the 10. Lined out left and right, Dapto. Could go either way. McGregor, dummies on the inside. Second man for Robson. Second man again for Pieper. I tell you what, good play there, but equally good defence there. It was Colby Pello there. And we just see the ball spilt there. Robbie Baser, I think he had a sniff of the try line there, Johnny. And we know he can find it, but just putting the cart before the horse a little bit.
Sure did. Baser was trying to take advantage of a very quick play the ball from Kamisala. Trying to sniff out a couple of slow markers there around the ruck for the Western Suburbs, but just had his eyes on the try line, Baser, and not on the ball when he went to scoop that up. And that was a bit of a wasted opportunity for the Dapto Canaries. They really were laying down pressure on the Western Suburbs defence. And the West boys there let off, and they're going to have to bring it back 90 metres now, Mitch, to try and hit back, as we see West bring it out of their own area through one of the Pello brothers.
I think it's Colby over there. We are just, as much as that was not the look to the end of the set, that now we see again. So a few penalties here, both sides just lapsing in their discipline a little bit. Hendo will be filthy with that one. They really had him under the pump there, deep inside their own end, and a penalty for holding down in the ruck. Really is a piggyback let-off penalty, not one you can afford to give a side like the Devils. I was about to say it did look like momentum was slightly shifting towards Dapto there before that penalty, but a relieving one certainly, Johnny, for West here.
Yeah, they look like they were edging their nose in front there. Dapto just applying a few repeat sets onto the Western Suburbs defence, and another one of those coach killers. You had West on the ropes there and you've just let them out of their own area. So to let any team out of their own area, let alone Western Suburbs, it's a bit of a no-no in this league.
Yes, certainly they can make you pay, as this is Glenn Stewart at first receiver, second man. Great ball there, I'll tell you what. He makes it look easy. It's almost like he's in slow motion there as he passes that one on to Blay. Rodriguez now, flat ball there for Rankmore. Gets the offload away again to Rodriguez. He tucks the ball under his arm and takes it up towards the 30. So some enterprising footy from the Devils here as Porter takes it on to what looks like Marty Cramp it was. Daly at dummy half. It is the last tackle. They come left to Rodriguez. Drops it on the toe there. Bounces up for Rankmore. He's into the in goal, but I think he might have been held up. He was, but I'll tell you what, Johnny, looks some dangerous, and a nice little kick there from Rodriguez. Took it right to the line before he dropped that on the toe, and Rankmore just couldn't quite get the ball down.
Yeah, just couldn't get the ball down. We see Dapto score off two little kicks behind the line, and we thought it was a little bit of payback there for the Western Suburbs Red Devils. But Rankmore got that ball and just could not get over the line. It was well stopped from the Dapto Canaries.
Space Roo now taking it out over the 10. This is Stu Mason again. Looks like Bailey Wallace has just come onto the paddock for Dapto in there at dummy half in the green headgear. Conspicuous with that. He's got the green highlighter headgear on as they look to Lulia. He takes it up towards the 30. Wallace again onto Bodish, who's just come back onto the paddock. Matty Hancock now, as we see, going towards the sideline. Not a bad first up stint from big Matty Hancock. As this is Pieper putting that kick down. It's a nice one over the top of Porter, but he goes back and fields it. Makes it look easy in the end, and he brings it right back to the 30. Tackled there by Kamisala. This is Tom in off the right wing. He'll take it just over the 40. Some hard going here as Daly out of dummy half again onto Colby Pello. So the back five really involving themselves here for the Devils as it just starts to feel the pinch a little. And now we see the arm going up the other way. We saw West penalised back-to-back there for inside the 10. And now it's Dapto ping for that one.
Big chance here for Western Suburbs, Mitch. A couple of penalties back-to-back, and they're just working their way nicely down the field. They've seen good involvement from both the Pello boys, especially Colby, in this game, Mitch, and I'll look to him to sort of, once the game goes on and a couple of these big forwards tie through the heat, he'll be one of those guys to look through that are going to be really sniffing around that ruck and getting inside balls off Rodriguez, trying to sniff out a couple of those tired Dapto forwards.
Yeah, have to think so. It has been, if you look at what the Devils have produced this afternoon, it's looked very good. Some good passing, some slick hands, but it has been just a tad sideways. So you have to think if they can get the likes of Porter, Pello, obviously Justin Rodriguez coming back against the grain a little bit and testing out some of these big men in the middle, they could get some joy, though. The tackle count restarts there as Rodriguez goes back to the inside, just as we were talking about, Johnny. Start testing out that inside defence from the Canaries as Daly dummies on the inside. He goes a flat ball for Leah Tinganga. He'll play it 8 metres out. So West right on the attack here. Pello, flat ball there for Lodge, who's just come onto the paddock. As they go to Pello. Second man now for Rodriguez. Porter, dummies. Goes back on the inside, looking for support up the middle, and some good defence there from Brunning, although the offload comes away. Lodge again. So it's Kyle Lodge in the number 6. I don't know if he's ever actually worn the 6 in his life. Wears it well, though, the male model. As they come left now onto Pello. Rodriguez dummies on the inside. He'll be made to play at 8 metres out. Right again to Pello. He drops that on the toe. And that might just roll dead. It will. So certainly some questions asked of the Dapto defence. We see plenty of hands on hips, but they were equal to it there, Johnny.
Yeah, they look good, just starting to play a little bit more direct there in that set, Mitch. Just a couple of inside balls really working over the middle of the paddock, and a little bit too much pepper on that kick, just trickling over the dead ball line. And Dapto Canaries with a 7-tackle set here, and I'm sure Michael Henderson, his message would be out there through his water runner there, Nathan Hodson, just get to the kick and earn some field position. As we see Bryant bringing it back over the 40-metre line. And it's a massive plus, these 7-tackle sets. It really gets your team down into the other end very early in the tackle count.
Yeah, it does, as we see Wallace now up towards the 40. McGregor now getting out, so they've gone with the 2 number 9 set up here, Henderson, perhaps just with 5 minutes to go before the halftime break, looking to ask some questions of his own around the ruck as Robson goes back on the inside to Reddy. Nice offload there from Reddy onto Wallace. Some space through the middle. Pieper in support, as all good number 1s do. He'll be made to play at 10 metres out, but a retreating defensive line here for the Devils. Lulia goes back. He puts the ball on the toe. I don't know if it was the best option, but they get some joy for it there the Devils. He hasn't wiped it down, so we'll say not played at. And this looks like Mason now. He's held just a metre out, if that. Wallace, flat ball there for Brunning. Well, I don't know if that was the play they were set up for, so they lose a bit of metres there. Dapto Pello making the tackle. And Wallace, well, he's all over that one, but they'll say it was a penalty. And now a sin bin. So it looks like Tony Pello's been dispatched. And a bit of an, I don't know, obviously we don't have the ref mic, so we don't know if a warning was issued, but it certainly does seem out of the back pocket there, Johnny.
Definitely, I haven't seen many sent for 10 for slapping down the ball from marker. But as long as the ref consistent with his calls, Mitch, I'm fine with that.
Although it was, yeah, very much under the pump, so in the professional foul category, we suppose, as Mason now takes it up off his left foot. I tell you what, he's going to go close. He's going to go better than that. So there it is, straight off the tap. And all of a sudden, Dapto right on top. They take a 12-6 lead with a kick to come. And some of that pressure just started. Sorry, I got a bad view of the thing. There's a worst pole you've ever seen right in front of the scoreboard from our position here. So it is 16-6.
Is it the pole, Mitch, or the breakfast Guinness for St. Paddy's Day?
It is St. Patrick's Day. But it is 16-6, the score we can confirm. And Dapto right on top, Johnny.
Just too easy there from Stuart Mason on the back end of a penalty and a sin binning there. And I'm sure after the Tony Pello got marched for 10, it would have been the call round the Western Suburbs camp. Let's just hold out. And there's only 3 minutes remaining in this quarter. And he just strolled over big Stuart Mason. It made it look very much too easy. And Dapto right back on top here at their home ground.
Yeah, Pieper now will attempt the conversion. Hasn't had too many tough assignments so far this afternoon. Have to think he'll knock this one over at risk of putting the commentator's mock on him.
And just looking down, Mitch, down to the Dapto bench, I think it's the first time we've seen Michael Henderson with a smile on his face. He'd be pleased with the performance that Dapto are starting to show. They're starting to look like the team that we know. As we see Pieper convert the Mason try and extend the lead for the Dapto Canaries. 18 points to 6, 2.5 minutes remaining in this second quarter.
We are, so it's West with the need to respond. They're going to have to go this last 2 minutes and a couple into the third quarter with 12 men. But a crucial time here now going into the break. Another try to Dapto would really twist that knife. As Porter puts the ball on the tee.
I don't want to knock any side here, Mitch, but we've seen Dapto not complete their sets twice off the kickoff so far in this game. So let's see if the Dapto Canaries can get to their kick, or we're going to see the Western Suburbs Red Devils force a mistake for the Dapto Canaries.
It's certainly what they'll be trying to do as Wallace there goes blindside. Lulia at dummy half. Onto Batiki with a head of steam. He's up just shy of the 40. And a penalty now goes the other way. So another penalty there in the play. The ball, they'll say he didn't quite get his foot to it. And, well, I'll tell you what, Johnny, the players aren't aware at every level that this is something they're going to have to get right throughout this season. Penalties like that will be a timely reminder.
And it's not just in this first grade. We see it coached all the way through from the under-6s and the way how to play the ball correctly. And if these grown men playing first grade in the Illawarra competition aren't going to play this ball properly, well, they've only got themselves to blame. And if points are scored off the back end of that, it's really going to be super frowned upon by any coach.
As the Devils now close to the line. Long ball there. Pello, he breaks out of one tackle. And he's still going towards the line. And I think he might have just spilt that as he reached out for the try. But can't really fault young Pello there. He beat a tackle and he was reaching out for that try. And with just shy of 30 seconds now until half-time, almost a hit back there, which would have been a very, very timely one for the Devils. But, yeah, we've seen a couple of those play-the-ball penalties. That's what they get for playing the ball fast, John. I can tell you in my career, never once did I play the ball fast. Never once was I penalised for not touching the ball with my foot. Never once did I play a first-grade game in the Illawarra Coal League.
Was it more the cries of get up and play the ball you heard from your other teammates?
No, just looking for a spell, mate. Just looking for a spell. As we see now, Robson will feed the scrum. He won't have time to feed the scrum. So that is half-time. Johnny, plenty for both coaches to think about. What do you think the message will be from both coaches?
Both sides have just got to hold the ball here, Mitch. Just get to their kick on the tail end of their sets and really force some pressure down the opposition's end. Both these sides, once they've got ball in hand and completing their sets, Mitch, they're both looking very dangerous, and there's points to be scored out there. I'm sure this break is well needed from both sides. Preferably the Peter McLeod's team. He'll be just telling his boys to really hold on to this ball and march their way down the paddock. They've let Dapto back into this game and score pretty much 2 unanswered tries off the back of some really deft kicking from Jeff Robson. West, they were the dominant team in that first quarter, and going in halftime break, scoreboard reads 18-6, but I don't think it's flattering too much for the Dapto Canaries.
Yes, certainly very much to be written in this half. As we said, both sides a well-earned rest for them. It is sweltering conditions out there. End up here in the stands, Johnny, so we will have a bit of a spell as well. We'll be back with all the second half action in just a little while.
Welcome back, everyone, to Dapto Showground for the second half of this VB Challenge Cup between the Dapto Canaries and the Western Suburbs Red Devils. So we see the Western Suburbs side back onto the field. The Dapto Canaries about to join them onto the field. Half-time score, 18 points to 6. A little bit flattering towards the Dapto Canaries. I'm sure Coach Michael Henderson would have had a lot of words to say in that shed. So we see the referees about to take the field as well. And Mitch, the temperature has sure not dropped off here, and the boys, they would have really needed that rest there at half-time. And yourself as well, by the looks of the coming back from the canteen with those drinks.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I did go looking for a water there, and I can tell you, the West Cam, looking at them there, I did walk past him in the betting ring down here, and a lot of positivity. As much as they find themselves down on the scoreboard, Pete McLeod certainly looks like he's driven home what they did do well there, and the fact they did have most of the running, and they're just going to have to use that as a bit of a long game and hope it pays off for them in the end. It is disheartening, obviously, given the way they played, particularly in that first quarter, to find themselves down by 12 at this half-time break, but certainly some encouraging signs. They haven't been out of it by any stretch, so I have to think a bit of good fortune falling their way could just turn this one on its head, Johnny.
Yeah, definitely. If they get the rub of the green, a little bit of luck here, I'm sure that they are going to take full advantage of that. And just looking down onto the field, we just see Glenn Stewart down close to us, Mitch, and just throwing the ball there with the ball boy. And what an experience for the kid down there, the Western Suburbs ball boy, to be, standing alongside Glenn Stewart there. As you said, premiership winner, Clive Churchill medalist, and just an asset to this Western Suburbs side.
Man, absolutely is fantastic to see. You're talking about a guy who's a test player, a Clive Churchill medalist, has done everything you can do in the game. For him to approach his junior club and say, I do want to come and play some footy, just sensational. We'd like to see that go throughout the country footy, I think. Guys going back to their local club, back to their junior club, to really give something back to the game that's given them so much, as we see Green now taking the ball up towards the 40. Rodriguez in there at dummy half. Not sure he's playing in that role, as this is Speechley, who's just come on and started this second half there. Pieper feels that one. I'll tell you what, be very good at the back, Troy Pieper. They've certainly put him under some pressure with the kicks, but he's made it all look easy thus far, Johnny.
Yeah, for sure, Mitch. He's been my pick for the Dapto Canaries so far. You've seen earlier on in the game in the first few sets that he really got into that first receiver role and brought a couple of his forwards underneath him. He's been absolutely... And we see another penalty there. Mitch will go back to Pieper. He's been awesome there at fullback on his kick returns. He's been 100% spot on every time. And an early penalty for Dapto, and something that Pete McLeod wouldn't want his side to give away so early in this second stanza.
Yeah, not at all. It is funny. You can see, as we touched on, Jason Raper, a huge loss on the paddock for the Canaries this year, but he is coaching reserve grade end. Effectively the backs coach in first grade. You can see a lot of Jason Raper in the way Troy Pieper's played this afternoon, so certainly having an impact. Rapes off the paddock, though he has hung them up, as Brunning now at first receiver onto Stu Mason. He winds up.
He's been good, Mason, off the bench, hasn't he?
Yeah, been very, very good in the Dragon system, obviously. As he goes off his right foot now, Robson. 8 metres out. He'll play the ball. Wallace now at dummy half. Onto McGregor. So again, the two-pronged dummy half attack. Looks like McGregor's slipped into the lock forward role with the two ball players, as that one goes behind there. As they come blindside, Pieper, flat ball for Batiki. He's left it behind. And now Keogh takes it away, but not the worst of ideas there. They had stripped him for numbers, but Batiki just unable to reel in that one.
It was the right play there on that blindside, Mitch. They were a little bit outnumbered there, Western Suburbs, and just a little handling area costing the Dapto Canaries. Looked like a possible 4-point try there on that left-hand side flank. The Western Suburbs, they'll have to bring it out of their own area again. That's through Will Tom taking the first scoot out. A quick play the ball here for Rodriguez. Has he jumped into dummy half there, Mitch?
Yeah, it looks like he has. He's playing at dummy half. He has certainly played there a fair bit under the success they did have under former coach Jason Riles. Became a very handy dummy half option for Rilesy on their run to the final in 2015. There's some good metres there from Green. Don't know if we'll see a whole lot of him there during the regular season, but obviously pre-season a chance to experiment just a little bit. as we touched on, Zach Green, outstanding in the reserve grade clash before. I think he'll get a number, but the man with the ball there, Speechley, as much as that ball's hit the deck, has certainly earned another opportunity in first grade. He was outstanding a couple of weeks ago against Queanbeyan in the Devils' victory there over the Blues. So certainly has at least earned his shot in these pre-season games. So I'm pretty sure J-Rod will be happy to sit there and do a job for the team, as selfless as they come as a player, Rodriguez. So I think he'll have the number 7 on his back for most of the year, but doing a job there as we see Brunning now takes the ball up towards the 40. Wallace there, they're looking blindside again as they go inside there for Bryant. Offload there for Batiki. Batiki getting close to the sideline. They can't force him over it, but Wallace all the way over there to field this one from dummy half. Wallace again at dummy half. McGregor at first receiver onto Robson. Nice little kick. He's looking for Basaru over there. If it bounces for him, he'll get there, and he has too. Well, there you go. Chalk that up again. That makes it, if I've got it right, 3 tries off the boot of Jeff Robson there, Johnny. And what a beautiful kick. He needed it to bounce for him, but he saw the space. Rob Basaru obviously can sniff out a try, and what a great finish there. The ball was bouncing around, but he knows how to get it done on that right flank.
Can find the 4-pointer, Rob Basaru, and I'm not sure if Robson's mic'd up out there. I was very critical of his kicking game, but 3 tries have been laid off the back end of the Jeff Robson boots there. And Basaru, he'll just keep adding to his point-scoring power rest for the Dapto Canaries.
Certainly, I did present him with the top try scorers award at last year's Paul McGregor medal, at least I think I did. If my recollections are correct, but I'll tell you what, one of the guys you really, really enjoy watching play in this league, Rob Basaru, he just, ability to finish, it's just really got them over the line in some games. He can really turn games on their head as well. You've got a guy coming in off the wing, having that sort of impact, it's always going to help you. And it has certainly done that for Dapto in the last couple of years. A tough assignment now for Pieper, though. It's been undoubtedly the toughest of his afternoon. Most of them have come pretty close to the post. So we'll see how he handles this one. Moves in. And it's waved away. It wasn't too bad a strike, but enough to miss. But certainly Dapto now with their tails right up, 22-6. Probably deserved leaders, but the margin probably doesn't do justice to the clash. But West, their own worst enemy in a lot of ways. They're coming out of their own end there, Johnny.
Definitely, Mitch. I'd like to see West just really hold on to this ball and muscle their way down the paddock. They're going to have a big defensive set here to really hold Dapto in their own area. And just back onto Rob Basaru. What a haircut he's got for this season. Mitch looks like a stylish samurai top knot, and we've seen a couple of fancy haircuts in this league so far. We've seen Tommy Simpson last week with that Trent from Punchy hairdo, and he was still sporting that last night against Corrimal. And Basaru's just, is there a trend in the Illawarra League with these new haircuts?
Oh, it looks like there are, Robbie. Look, yeah, he's got the last samurai look over there as we see Batiki now. Nice offload there. Keogh on this side couldn't quite reel that one in, but certainly there's some varying haircuts throughout the Dapto lineup. So see Keogh on this, he's very much the Kevin Nakama, Fresh Prince of Bel Air look on this left flank. But Dapto, again, as much as they're in front, another set coming out of trouble they can't complete, Johnny. It's got to start dead set having Hendo ripping his hair out, you have to think at this point.
That's the 4th time that this has happened, Mitch. The 4 tries they've laid on, they've coughed the ball up 4 times off the receiving kickoff after points, and it's just gifting Western Suburbs an opportunity to hit back. So we see Rodriguez out of dummy half.
Will be interesting to see how Pete McLeod does play this half. As we've mentioned, they sort of do have that final spot sewn up. So will he sort of let this one go, so to speak, and just try to give as many people some running in their legs as they can, or will pride take over and will he have to want to try to put their hand up and really try to come back into this one? Obviously, it is still only the pre-season, and they've been very impressive in their first 2 outings as Power now goes off his right foot. It may come down to this next 5 or so minutes, Johnny, in terms of how he does approach it, if they can get another try up here. So it looks like Batiki is really leveled Glenn Stewart there. And some great outside in pressure there from Dapto, and he had sort of free rein early on Glenn Stewart, but maybe it was something that Hendo mentioned at half-time, because Penny Batiki was all over him there, Johnny.
Yeah, definitely, and it was the first time that Glenn Stewart's hit that flat runner. And another mistake from Dapto, bringing it out of their own area and back over to cough the ball up to Western Suburbs. But in that last play, Mitch, Glenn Stewart didn't opt to go out the back this time. He hit his flat runner there, and the flat runner coughed it up. So let's look for Glenn Stewart to go out the back again and lay a little bit more room on for his outside backs.
So we see a bit of ball playing there from Dylan Laurie as well. Zach Blay now takes it up towards the Dapto line, and that will be a penalty. And we obviously did see Tony Pello get a bit of a rest there. Back-to-back penalties here. Be interesting to see if Dapto perhaps lose one as well if the infringements continue. Rodriguez to dummy half again, on to Speechley. Second man for Porter, space out there if he can find him. He holds on to that one, and Robson comes again to make the tackle. If he had his time again, he might have given that one Mitchie Porter, but they go right now to Jimmy Green. Call him Superman. We saw him in his civilian clothes there, Johnny, about 5 minutes before kickoff, and there he is out there in full garb. So scored 2 tries against Queanbeyan a couple of weeks ago, as well as Stewart now. The lofted pass onto that man Green. Speechley off his left foot. Wallace comes again to make the tackle with Reddy. Rodriguez from dummy half. Flat ball there for Blay. Blay pins his ears back. And Dapto, some good defence on their line with the help of the upright. Speechley tries to drop it, that one on the toe. And I'll say it was a knock-on from Dapto, so not ideal, but it does force the error. I'll tell you what, up the upright's having an impact this year, Johnny. We saw it last night with the Broncos Cowboys, and Dapto can probably chalk up a safe try there to the upright as well.
Yeah, well done for the Fig Tree Physiotherapy goal pad there. Stopped a certain try, and that was better football from Western Suburbs, just working both sides of the paddock there, really putting pressure on the Dapto's Canaries defence. Bit of a stutter there, and a massive opportunity for Western Suburbs. 12 men still on the paddock for West, as we spoke about. Pello, still a little bit of time.
Just come back on.
As he's come back on. Just back onto the field, Tony Pello.
And it's that man Pello with the ball now. He finds Lodge. Lodge goes off his right foot. He'll be made to play at 8 metres out. They're stacked on the blind side. They go that way. Mitchie Porter off his right foot. He's got a sniff of the try line. But he's dragged down. Flat ball there for Power. He'll play it. He's directly in front of the right upright. Rodriguez. Flat ball again, and Laurie turns around. I think he thought he might have been running through as a decoy. And he just couldn't quite reel that one in. J-Rod not quite finding the intended target there. So another let off there for Dapto, Johnny, and got to start being frustrating for Pete McLeod.
100% there, Mitch. They're not helping themselves, West, at the moment. They've had the opportunities down, camped down in the Dapto territory, and they just can't find that last play, that last execution pass to really cross over that stripe and score another 4-pointer. They're behind on the scoreboard, 22 points to 6, and if they keep misjudging their passes and not sticking to the game plan that Pete McLeod set out, it's going to be a tough task for them to hit back here.
Indeed, that margin, it's a large one, but I tell you what, in terms of the twos and fros of the contest, West certainly not out of it. If they can get a try here quickly in these next 7 minutes before this three-quarter time break, they'll certainly give themselves a chance, but just can't quite put it together on the attacking end as Mason now takes it up towards the 40. I agree with you, Johnny. Been very good off the bench, Stu Mason. As we said, in that Dragon system, and showing it the way he's played this afternoon against what is a fairly handy West pack, as we see. It was Mason there again as he takes it up towards the 40.
What an option Mick Henderson's got with Mason coming off the bench. And Dapto aren't playing with one of their key front rowers in Jamie Dunning today. So it's going to be a good rotation of those front rowers we're going to see this season.
Yes, we are. I've actually seen Jamie walking around. He's doing a fair good rotation of the Great Northerns. How can you blame someone on a day like it is today? Former Paul McGregor medalist Jamie Dunning. It's a pretty handy guy to be able to bring back into your side after the pre-season, as the Devils now up towards the 30. Will Tom goes off his left foot. Hancock there making the tackle, as this is Laurie again. Tucks the ball under. That's a good carry from Laurie. Takes it up towards halfway in some space now for Pello. They'll go that way too. It looks like it's field here on this edge. He's got Lodge in support. Lodge pins his ears back. He's got Pello with him as well. And Pello's going to go and score. Well, that's a terrific try. Tony Pello goes right in under the post. He started the movement and he finishes it. And I'll tell you what, that's a fantastic try, Johnny. Last tackle, chance their arm on it. Beautiful out ball there from Pello, just to put field into some space. And Kyle Lodge, normally a back rower, he's got the 6 on his back. He looked every part the 5'8" there with that little pass, Johnny, for Tony Pello to finish off and score.
That's better from Western Suburbs, and that's the Western Suburbs we know, Mitch, and we've watched over the last few seasons. Started from Tony Pello and finished by Tony Pello, and it was a ball. He counted numbers on that right-hand side, put his centre into open space, and we've seen with the 6 on his back, Kyle Lodge, he was hoping that try line was about 10 metres shorter than what it was, but a great back inside ball to Tony Pello, and he scooted around and put it back under the dot here at the Dapto Showground. And a much-needed try from the Western Suburbs Red Devils, and it will be a confidence booster that for them, Mitch.
Yeah, mate, Lodge has been sensational through pre-season. I know he's had a few little hamstring worries, so I don't know if he was I think he was a bit relieved to see Tony Pello looming up in support. He would have backed himself to get to the corner, but happy to give Tony Pello. He did it in about third gear in the end, it has to be said, as he finishes under the post. And Mitchie Porter, have to think we'll knock this one over and we'll have a 10-point ball game, and all of a sudden it's game on, Johnny.
Definitely. You reckon Kyle Lodge was revving out there in fifth gear, Mitch? Yeah, a great hit back for Western Suburbs. Porter adds the extras. 22 points to 12. Just under 4 minutes remaining in this third quarter. There is plenty of time left in this game for Western Suburbs to hit back here. And we spoke about they're into the big dance next week, Mitch. Do you think we'll see Pete McLeod keep all his mainstay players out there? I reckon we're going to see a bit more rotation in this side.
I'll tell you what, I think they've gone through the pre-season. Obviously, they have been as impressive as the Devils have been in their opening 2 games. It has been giving a lot of people an opportunity. So I think at this stage you can pretty fairly say most people have had their chance. So from here on in, 23 minutes left in this one, you think he'll put his best team out there and go for broke. As you see, Will Tom, and certainly we'll see next week in the final, we'll see, I think, 2 of the best sides going around and 2 of the best 17s from both coaches. And now a penalty. Well, that's just an absolute coach killer. They'll say he hasn't played the ball. It was the try scorer, Pello. And that is an absolute coach killer coming out of trouble. I didn't get a very good look at the play the ball, but Pete McLeod, a pretty composed bloke. It's the closest we've ever seen to the hat coming off and hitting the deck, I think.
Mitch, I think they're going to have coaches this season coming up and seeing us before the game and giving us $50 not to mention any player, because every time we give a player a rap, something happens and they've forced a mistake or they've done something silly. As we see Dapto on the attack here, 10 metres out from the Western Suburbs line, and that man Mason again with the ball, Mitch.
I'm happy to do it. I tell you what, I can wrap every player on the paddock. 26 players on there. I tell you what, it turns out all right.
There'll be one bloke that benefits from that, and that's the licensee of Dicey Riley's if someone gives you $50 a player.
I think we'll be happy about that, George. George Poulos is the publican at Dicey Riley's, and a fantastic publican. I've never met a better one in my life, I can say, just as a shameless plug.
And I'm sure you've told them to watch this game live at the bar St Patrick's Day there, Mitch. You reckon there's a bit of a cheery going on there at the present moment?
Absolutely there is. I can tell you straight away the Facebook live stream is getting an absolute hammering out there in the beer garden. As we see Stu Mason, he's picked up a bit of an injury there. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. He looks like he's okay, and he's going to play the ball. As we said, been outstanding, Stu Mason. As Robson now, he stops and props and goes the other way. He just got overrun there by his man on the outside. They go right now to Peeper in first receiver role. Matty Hancock. Matty Hancock and a bit of wrestling going on there. Power trying to break Hancock's hold on his jumper. Wallace now, second man for Robson. A good ball out of dummy half and some space here. And Pello there making the tackle. Bryant from dummy half. He's sniffing out a try there, and he can do it, as we said, but he'll be made to play at 5 metres out, last tackle. Second man now to Robson. Robson drops that on the toe, and well picked up by Porter, and he'll go on the counter-attack. Beautiful anticipation there from Mitch Porter. He was all over that kick. He almost knew it was happening before it even hit the boot of Robson, and now he's put his side back on the attack, Johnny.
Awesome placement there from Porter, just to get himself in the right position to grab that kick from Jeff Robson. We've seen the boot of Robson laid on 3 tries, and I'm sure that was on the mind of Porter there to really find that ball, as we see Dapto giving away a penalty, and Pello will find touch 30 metres out from the Dapto Canaries line, and a big chance here for Western Suburbs to hit back, Mitch.
So what, Josh Daly's just come back onto the paddock, and I tell you what, in this heat and as the game goes on, his ability to get out from dummy half could prove telling here for the Devils. He's had a long spell, so I'm sure Pete McLeod will be looking for plenty from his number 9. There is only a minute 9 here before three-quarter time, but he pops out from dummy half again onto Speechley. Flat ball there for Green coming onto that one. As we see now, Power goes off his left foot, gets away from one, but he'll play at 8 metres out. They're lined out both sides of the ruck here, the Devils. We'll see which way the footy goes. Speechley now, again, back on the inside. He's dummied his way across. Well, there it is. I just did give him a little bit of a rap earlier on, Johnny, so finally the mock doesn't go against us. He has been very, very good given his opportunities in this pre-season by Pete McLeod, and he had runners inside and out in the defence. They just overcommitted on both, and he strolls across untouched, and it's absolutely game on now with 23 seconds before three-quarter time.
Sure is, Mitch, and Speechley looks real handy round that ruck, just sniffs out them slower players. He's only a little fella, isn't he, but he looks real wiry and a lot of ability there. And if any opposition defence is going to lay off him, he's going to be hard to stop. And a great solo effort there from Speechley to bring his side really back into this game as we hear the third quarter siren go off. Mitch Porter about to add the extras and bring this score to 22 points to 18. And 5 minutes ago, you wouldn't have thought of this scoreline at the third quarter break.
No, absolute credit to the Devils. As we said, they could easily have been disheartened by what they saw on the scoreboard, but it hasn't been what it looked like there at 22-6. The game's been much more intense and much more toughly fought than that, and now they've found a way to get across. Mitchy Porter, you think, will knock this one over as he moves in, and he does. So 22-18, and a hell of a 20 minutes we've got coming up now, Johnny. I'll tell you what, poised here we are with 20 minutes to go. You've got to say, with the ebbs and flows in this game, 22-18, a pretty fair indication of the way it's gone.
Yeah, and I think Pete McLeod, as we spoke about earlier, he will bring his best 13 on the paddock for this last 20 minutes and really get a feel for what his side's is capable and what he needs to work on for next week for the final. So a real interesting 20 minutes of rugby league coming up here from Dapto Showground. Western Suburbs, they wouldn't have been really keen on this three-quarter break, Mitch. Dapto would have been really hungry for that siren to go off, and momentum was really flowing in the way of the Western Suburbs Red Devils there.
Yeah, if you look at the game, as we touched on last week, speaking about collegians and the rule, it was interesting how the quarter system as opposed to the half system really was a factor. It's probably something players and coaches do welcome in the pre-season, but it's had more of an impact than I think any of us would have expected. Today, in the opening quarter, Dapto desperate for that first quarter break. West were all over them right on top. Then it probably come half-time. West were probably begging for that break. And now as we hit three-quarter time, West right on top, and the momentum stalls just slightly again. So no excuses from here on in. No, there is 20 minutes to play. Both sides going the distance. Both sides have done it in this oppressive heat, as we've touched on. It has just slightly cooled down a bit finally. Maybe it was a few of those ventures towards the bar, but we'll see. But going to cool down, so no excuses really anywhere. It's going to be the best team generally wins this. They've both given each other all they can handle. And to use the boxing analogy, we've gone into the championship rounds with the scores even. It's just going to who's had that little bit extra down the stretch, Johnny.
Yeah, definitely. And we've seen a lot of handling errors earlier in this game. They seem to have just crept out of the game a little bit, and both sides are more completing their sets. It's just the silly penalties that are costing both sides. And we've seen that from Dapto, a couple of silly errors there from holding down players. We've seen Western Suburbs not play the ball correctly. Just these little 1% plays that are costing each side But we get that out of this game and start a bit more discipline. We're going to see a cracker of a 20 minutes of rugby league. And like we're talking about this concept, the VB Challenge Cup, and this is only a pre-season competition. In 6 weeks' time, we go into the big dance and the season starts. And what a season it's going to be if this is just a pre-season at the moment, Mitch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had the pleasure of calling the Rural Collies game last week. Johnny was an absolute belter. This one, no different this afternoon. And interesting, as we've touched on, we don't really have a microphone in either huddle, so we have to go off body language. But we've seen both coaches be very animated at certain stages, but both there seem quite measured. I think they both realise where the game is poised and what needs to be done down the stretch. And both probably think they've both done everything they can to get their side within reach with these 20 minutes to go. And generally the best side will win.
And it looks like that Pete McLeod's opting for Glenn Stewart to stay off this 20 minutes here, Mitch. So a bit of a rest for his NRL star. So given the chance to, looks like the 22's on for West, Zach Green, who had an enormous game in that reserve grade as we spoke about earlier on. So probably not the best 13 out there for Western Suburbs. But first game back for Glenn Stewart, it would have been a great hit out for him, just with his combinations that he's going to play with for season 2018, but also blow away a few cobwebs there.
And as you talk about that, we see Jeff Robson also sitting on the bench for Dapto. So both coaches, it seems, playing the long game, at least for the early part of this fourth quarter.
You reckon that would have been a gentleman's agreement there between Hendo and Pete?
It certainly looks the way it's gone. They certainly weren't splitting hairs, the two of them, I can tell you that. But as they move up now, it's Rankmore that takes this one forward. Lodge now off his left foot. Lodge also had a very good second stint in the latter part of this game. Daly out of dummy half. And it's interesting, you talk about players rotating. Johnny, we see Zach Green onto the field now. We haven't seen what would presumably be Pete McLeod's first choice halves pairing of Justin Rodriguez and Zach Green together. They were sensational, really piloted the Devils to the finals last season. Have to think they will be the pair that Pete McLeod puts his faith in again, but giving them both their chance in isolation, perhaps just giving each, as that one rolls dead, perhaps just giving each of them a chance to really show what they can do when there's the other partners not out there. They really have to take control of a side, is perhaps what he's looking for from both.
It's a good problem that Pete McLeod's really got, isn't it? Like, you know, they're going to train Tuesday night and he's going to have to sit down and pick his side, and you know, he's going to have to make them hard calls throughout the season. It's a great opportunity for both Zach Green and also Rodriguez to really stamp their authority here and show their coach what they are capable of. I'm sure Pete McLeod's he's been in the system for long enough to know what these players can do. And we see Dapto just coughing that ball up.
As a spud. Keogh's coming off the wing there, looking for a carry. He wasn't anyone near him, and he's just put that down. And those are the ones that really frustrate a coach. And now West with a huge opportunity to get on the front foot for here. They'll start this set on the Dapto 40. And the way they finished that quarter, certainly with their tails up, as we said, Johnny, to be looking to mount something here.
Definitely a try here would be just what the Red Devils need to notch up and get closer to the Dapto scores. We see them just working down the right-hand side from that scrum. There's that man with the 6 on his back, Kyle Lodge again, the unfamiliar 6, back to the open. And Mitch, they're just working their way into the centre of the paddock here, and they're going to probably lay something on, and I'm going to look for a man like Zach Green to really lay on a great pass for his outside back. As Speechley goes to that line again, he's dangerous, Mitch, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Had the ball. He goes there, runners inside and out. Not afraid to take it on, as you mentioned, like not the hugest frame out there, but willing to take the knocks and take the line on, as we see. Looks like Green there, and straight out of dummy half, Josh Daly. We just talked about how dangerous he can be from there. They pull him up just short. Lined out to the right here. They go to Speechley. He'll go to the line, drop it on the toe. And diving on that, I think it was Manuela. No, they'll say it was a knock on there. It was there, so in trying to clean that one up, the Canaries have made an error. So the West Devils right back on the attack. Manuela there, just come back on the field, had a long stint off the paddock, and he did his best to clean that one up, but just bobbled a little bit, and now the Devils with possession again. tell you what, a try here from the Devils will really throw the cat amongst the pigeons, Johnny.
Definitely, and the base of the scrum is that Marty Cramp from the base of the scrum.
The scrum move there, Marty Cramp. I don't know if he called that, but he's there, and he got close too, I've got to say. As they go right now, Leotinga, he's barging his way across. Held up just short. Daly from that. Well, there was no one there. It was amazing that lackadaisical approach at their own goal line defence there from the Devils. There was no one within a bull's roar of Daly there at dummy half, and he's pretty much just strolled across there. And I can see there, looking to the bench, Michael Henderson, he's filthy on that one. He's shaking his head. With good reason, really, Johnny. You shouldn't be giving up tries like that close to your try line.
Definitely. The Dapto Canaries just look real complacent there on the line. They had no idea or not even a thought that Daly was going to go from dummy half. And just looking over there, and Reece Bowditch is still down on the knees and probably half in disgust about letting that try go past. It was very uncharacteristic there from the Dapto Canaries, who really pride themselves on that goal line defence. And the Western Suburbs Red Devils, they're back here, and Mitch Porter's about to add the extras, and we're going to lock up the scores.
In fact, it might even be a go-ahead kick here for Mitch Porter. A kicker of his calibre would, you'd think, knock this one over, and they'll take the lead. And there's certain things as a coach you can cop, Johnny, but tries like that certainly is something you think will cop quite a razzing in review when Mick Henderson does review this one.
Definitely. We've seen Mick Henderson just there leaning on the old Gatorade water bottles, and I'm surprised he really didn't put his boot into that.
But now it is Pieper has the tee, so he'll get us back underway. 24-22, 14 minutes left, so still anyone's game. I don't know if either of us expected anything less than a contest when we came here to be 2 points apart as the whips are cracking. As Pieper puts this one out, it's getting close to the sideline. And, well, he stepped over Will Tom. That was a nightmarish kick. He was damned if he did, damned if he didn't there. Looked like it might just have sailed into touch on the full, but who really knows? Poor Will Tom. He reeled it in pretty well, but he's hit the touchline there, and all of a sudden, just like that, Dapto with the chance to go on the attack.
Mathematics isn't the best, Mitch, but I think that's either the 6th or 7th time we've seen a mistake from points with a kickoff, and Dapto with a real big opportunity here, packing the scrum 10 metres out from the west try line to hit back.
Now it's Pieper with the footy. He goes off his right foot. Tackled there by Marty Cramp. Jimmy Green also involved. But back on the inside for Keogh. In fact, I think it's Kamisala. He'll play it 8 metres out. They go right side again. Manuela off his right foot. He plays it just a metre out. Second man there from McGregor. Lulia into the final 5 metres, but he's pulled up just short. Left now, Pieper. Long ball for a Pieper. What a beautiful ball there for a Pieper, and Keogh crosses untouched. Well, Johnny, you've spoken about it all game, about the ability for the number 1 from Dapto to chime into the line and play as a ball player. Well, we saw every bit of his skill there, just picked out the man, the long ball. He crosses untouched, and what a huge moment in this game.
Pieper, he's been enormous. We spoke about how good he's been, and he's just playing as that second, sort of that extra first receiver role, really getting his hands on the ball. And I think Dapto to be the most dominant side this season and towards the season proper in 2018, the more Pieper gets his hands on the ball, I think the more beneficial it's going to be for this Dapto Canary side. And what vision to put it on the chest. I think it was, is it Keogh out there on the wing that scored that try?
It was Keogh out there on this wing, and I tell you what, a couple of times they've gone blindside and we've said they haven't quite nailed the execution on it. They've stripped the numbers right and haven't quite got it right, but I tell you what, that was perfect there. Keogh was right on the chalk, and Pieper just absolutely hit him with a beautiful pass. Almost looked like it was in slow motion. It is what you love to see.
It was just a fantastic ball from Pieper. I'm not sure. It was just one of those no-look passes that just hit Keogh flush on the chest.
Tough kick, though, now for Pieper from the sideline. It does help. They do have the lead, so it's not the pressure, not quite so much. He's not kicking for the lead, but a 4-point buffer here would be huge with 11 minutes to play.
Backing him in, Mitch?
Yeah, I'm backing him in. You know what I say. I tell you what, if I was a betting man, which I am, And there it is. Call that the commentator's mock again.
House wins.
Sorry, peeps, I owe you 50, mate. But now it is the Dapto, rather, in front with 11 minutes to play.
So just a seesawing game, this, isn't it, Mitch?
Yeah, absolute ebbs and flows, momentum swings. As we said, the quarter system does exacerbate that. It really does halt momentum in a stride and people have to start all over again. But it looked like West had all the momentum in this one until, as we said there, just another mistake on kickoff reception opened the door for the Canaries, and they made the most of it as Manuela now brings it out from his own line. He's just over the 10. McGregor at dummy half. As we see still at this point, those two men we spoke about, Jeff Robson and Glenn Stewart, both sitting on the bench. 10 minutes to go. Perhaps both coaches decided that's about what each player would play in this game, but as it goes on, interesting to see if they do just deploy one of their NRL guns in this one as they go right now. And that kick's gone straight out on the full, so Dapto after points, we're like a broken record up here, Johnny, but again, after points, both sides been guilty of it at various stages, but a set coming out of trouble, haven't managed to complete a set after scoring a try.
I was about to chime in, Mitch, and actually give Dapto praise there for completing their first set from points, but as we see a missed kick there from Dapto over the sideline and just gifting here the opportunity for Western Suburbs to hit back and try and put their noses back in front. So we see Western Suburbs just work in the middle of the paddock here, Green out the back.
Porter off his right foot. It's Daly in there at dummy half. Laurie now taking it up over the 30. So West the chance to mount something again. They go left to Rankmore. He goes off his left foot. Another bloke who's had a bit of a spell or a longish spell on the bench. Expect him to have an impact down the stretch as we see Zach Green goes out in ball now for Laurie. He's still there on the right. Some numbers to the left if they go there. They do. Daly out from dummy half. Speechley, he takes it right to the line. The long ball was the ball. What a pickup out there. Luke Towers has picked that up off his shoelace. As we said, there were some numbers there, and the bloke we just gave a rap to not that long ago, young Brad Speechley, summed that up perfectly with a long ball, and whatever Troy Pieper can do, Speechley can do just as well. As we see Devils crossing over there in the far corner, and they'll retake the lead. So the ebbs and flows continue, Johnny.
Seesaw effect again, Mitch, and what a ball there from Speechley. It was good vision from Speechley and just a great pick up there from Luke Towers, picking that up off his bootlaces and crossing over in the corner at Dapto Showground and putting his side back in the lead.
Haven't gone to that side a whole lot, to be honest. A lot of it's been right-sided in their attack. They've come towards us in our commentary position a fair bit, Johnny, but they've gone left there to Towers, a classy finisher. Been very good at fullback at other stages of this pre-season as well, and that was as much as it was the right pass, it was a tough one to scoop up, and he managed to do that, make it look easy and score out there. And Mitchie Porter with the opportunity to push this buffer out a little bit further. 8 minutes to go. And this game, well, I'll tell you what, the ebbs and flows, it just seems to get murkier and murkier. Who's going to win this one?
Yeah, I'm in two minds, Mitch. It could change another 3 times. A set, just over 7 minutes left in this game, and I'm sure we're going to see the lead change again at least another once or twice. And Mitchie Porter here about to attempt to add 2 more points. 28-26, West are in front now.
And I'll tell you what, I'm glad you didn't ask me for a tip beforehand, as you typically do. You like to put me on the spot, Johnny, but you didn't do that before the game, and I'm glad you didn't, because I'll tell you what, it was always an each-way bet on this one. As Mitchie Porter moves in, looks to add the extras on this one. And he struck it pretty well, but it's waved away. So 28-26 remains the margin, 7 minutes to go. We see Joel Reddy on the bench there for Dapto as well. Rodriguez, the likes of Stewart on the bench for the West Devils. So it looks like both coaches are going to let some of their younger guys try to sort this one out down the stretch and give them a chance to really notch the win.
I'm going to say it, Mitch. Are they going to complete this set?
Geez, well, I'll tell you what, the smart money would be no.
Just to throw another twist into this game.
That's a great carry there from Rankmore out of trouble, though. He takes it right up to the 20. This is Will Tom in off the right wing. He's up towards the 30. Daly out of dummy half again. This is Laurie. Daly from dummy half specially, and he'll kick from inside the 40, so chalk that up as a complete set there, Johnny. And now the bounce favourable for West again. Daly came through and kicked that ahead. He might have picked up a bit of a knock to his shin on that one. And Keogh will play it on his own 40. Baseru in off the right wing. Still going up towards halfway. McGregor, and there it is. There's the penalty. They'll say held down too long. As Baseru and Laurie just exchange a few words there. Tell them it's only a pre-season game.
I wouldn't be saying much to Baseru. Looks scary, doesn't he, Mitch?
Wouldn't be saying much to Dylan Laurie either, just quietly. You can leave me out of that one.
Another each-way bet.
Yeah, very much an each-way bet as they go now with the touch finder. Keogh with the inbound pass. And this is Penny Batiki. Good carry from Batiki. He just really wound up there. The way the game has gone, it's going to take a single effort, you think. Lulia back on the inside for Brunning, and he spilled that. Still 5 minutes to go, but a golden opportunity spilled there from Tory Brunning as Zach Green will play this on his own 10.
That was a top carry there from Batiki, Mitch. He really put his hand up there and took authority on that hit up, and really he laid the foundation there for a good set from Dapto, but Brunning just couldn't hold the ball, as we see. One of the West boys down on his haunches. Yeah,
it looks like it's Kurt Field. He looks in all sorts there. I don't know what he's done, but he's looking in all sorts of pain, being seen to by the trainers. And there is, as we said, just under 5 minutes to go, but that was a golden opportunity for the Daptos that just went begging.
Yeah, it definitely was, and Dapto are going to have to really muscle up here in defence and hold West in their own area or try and force a mistake if they are going to hit back and cross that stripe. As you said, less than 5 minutes left in this game. As we see Brunning coming off the field, having a well-earned break.
The way that's gone, I tend to wonder if Curfield maybe caught one of the unmentionables there. But he's battling on. As we see Will Tom off the right wing. He's on his own 10. So tough going in this set. Pello coming back infield now. Good carry from Pello there. He takes it up towards the 30. Not a lot of momentum in that set there from the Devils, but a good carry from Pello. And now it's Leotinga. Leotinga still going forward. He'll play at 35 metres out from his own line. And Green with the early kick. And it's a good one as well. Pieper, though, moves well to field that on the full. And he goes to Baseru. Why wouldn't you? As he goes up towards the 20. Good first up contact there. It was Josh Daly. Giving away a bit of size, but great first up contact from the West hooker. As you see now, Keogh off the wing. Lingering a little bit long in the tackle there, Lodge. As they go now, this is Camassari. Oh, wow.
Is that Dylan Laurie?
That was Dylan Laurie. What a shot. Didn't miss him at all. Came right out of the line. As we see Hancock now taking it over halfway. Lulia crabbing sideways. So not a lot of adventure in this set from the Canaries. They're 40 metres out looking for the go-ahead points. Pieper. And a charge down there from Laurie. And that might just roll into touch and they'll say penalty.
Good aggression there from Dylan Laurie, the last two tackles there, Mitch, but offside, was he on that one?
Call there. They're going to say no arms used, which is an interesting one. It looked like he did come out. Call me an old member of the Front Rowers Club, but I thought he did quite well there to put pressure on the kicker. But the penalty does go to the Canaries, and Lulia with the touch finder.
Would have been hard for
touch finder too. He makes it, pinches a good 25 metres there, and they'll start this set 10 metres out.
Would have been hard for Laurie to pull the handbrake up on that. He was committed into that tackle, as we see Dapto with a big opportunity. Kamasala there with the ball. He'll wrapped up metres from the try line. Dapto out the back. Lulia. Bit of a sloppy pass there.
He slips off his left foot. He's going up towards the 10. 2 minutes 20, so last genuine chance here for the Canaries to go ahead. But Tiki, geez, he's coming home. at an absolute sprint down the stretch. McGregor at dummy half. Out to Pieper. Dapto now 10 metres out. McGregor again at dummy half. Lulia goes back to the inside for Manuela. If he can play it quick, there's some numbers on the right here for the Canaries if they go there. They come the other way. Pieper puts this one up. He's looking for Keogh on this edge. He batted it back, and that'll be a try there for the Canaries. Well, there you go.
Is that Joshy Bryant?
I'll tell you what, he can sniff out a try, but the effort there from Keogh. Great kick again, Troy Pieper. Put that on an absolute sixpence. Tough one for Tom to take going backwards, and Keogh got up there with the bat back, and Josh Bryant, as we know he can do, on the spot to score a try.
What a kick from Pieper. He's really kept his Dapto Canary side in this game, and a great crossfield kick there, and a massive effort there from Keogh to push that ball back. It looked like it was going dead there for moments, and he's really, it was like a basketball move or something, flucking that back over his head, and Josh Bryant slams the ball down and puts his Dapto Canary side back in front. 30 points to 22. Under a minute left on the clock, Mitch, and that
might
could be
just
all
be
over.
the match winner, I tell you what. Right on full time. And you have to think Troy Pieper will take his time with this one.
Looks like Hendo's all smiles down there now, Mitch.
He is there. No, chalk it up as an offensive rebound. But Keogh has pushed that one back, and he may have just laid on the match winner for his side. Josh Bryant, as we said, wearing the centre number this afternoon. As Pieper moves in. And that one will be waved away, but we've got 20 seconds left on the clock, so West will need to get this underway very quickly.
Short kickoff coming up here, Mitch.
I think we might back. I'm not a betting man, but I'll say the short kickoff is coming. As we see it there from Porter. And that'll be a penalty to the Devils. He's taken it. That'll be a penalty to the Devils. And now we'll have the chance for the kick.
Another mistake off points.
An absolute brain fade there. They'll give Mitchy Porter the chance to level this one up.
Kamasala, what was he thinking?
He's never going to go against 10. We'll call him Jordan Kahu. An absolute brain fade. The ball was never going 10. He's reeled it in. And he's handed Mitch Porter the chance to level this one up.
What do you reckon Endo's saying down at the bench now, Mitch?
Mate, he looked cool, but I'll tell you what, he suddenly changed demeanour very quickly.
Rightio.
Porter, if there's a kicker in the league you'd back to put it over from here, it would be Mitch Porter. It's in front. He's a long way out. He'll have no problems with the distance.
Bets are on here, Mitch.
Oh, not a lot of breeze to speak of either. I am going to back him in. And I believe under the rules too, being the pool system, we're going to go to extra time here.
Here he goes, Mitch.
And he struck it pretty well.
Nah.
And it's waved away. So there it is. I did maybe put the mock on him again, so it will be 30-28 Dapto run-out winners. Just another one of those incredible ebbs and flows that were in this game, Johnny.
What an afternoon of football, Mitch. That was entertaining. The whole 80 minutes of that from the start to the finish, and it was possibly we were going into extra time here at Dapto Showground, and the crowd, it was dead silence there when Mitch Porter was going in for their kick. What was going through Mick Henderson's mind there? He was all smiles from that Josh Bryant try, and then just, I don't know, a brain snap there from the Dapto Canaries with Kamasala. Just what was he thinking? I'm sure Hendo's going to have a word to him right now.
At least remind him of a few of the rules. But I'll tell you what, it is the pre-season. No ultimate harm done. It is the host, Dapto Canaries, running out 30-28 winners. Thank you very much for joining us. Bar TV coming to you live from Dapto Showground. I'm Mitch Jennings. Thank you very much to Johnny Pett. We'll join you out there somewhere next week in the Illawarra. Thanks for joining us.